Good evening from my part of the world. I trust your week has been good. I trust your week has been good. Good evening from my parts of the world. There is no physical pain that can match the pain of regret. There is no physical pain that can match the pain of regret. It is a why we yada. Baby to that's so nipa we've experienced bodily pains. And I'm telling you that no physical pain can match the pain of regret. Can you close your eyes and put that into images? There is no physical pain that can match the pain of regret. So my question is, what aspect of your life have you ignored when you know what to do to get the results you desire? There is no physical pain that can match the pain of regret. When some of you have so much knowledge about what you do, the knowledge set, the skill set, you know exactly what you do. But days accumulate into weeks, and weeks turn into months, and another year is gone, and another one begins and ends too. But you know what you do and refuse to do it because you think you have so much time. In no time, you turn around and realize you didn't have the luxury of time to just wallow in that state, in that condition, in that situation. There is no physical pain that can match the pain of regret. So if you're 20 years and above, yes, I'm speaking to you. There is no physical pain that can match the pain of regret. What aspect of your life have you ignored when you know what to do to get the results you desire? You see, life presents us with many forms of pain. Yes, life presents us with many forms of pain. There is the pain of hunger, the pain of loss, the pain of disappointment, and even the sharp sting of physical injury. Yet all of the pains a human can endure, none cuts as deeply or lingers as long as the pain of regret. Now, the kuni person's cry is not when you didn't even know what to do. You knew what you were supposed to have done, and yet you did not. That pain cuts so deeply and lingers for a very long time, and that is the pain of regret. Physical pain may torment the body, but regret pierces the soul. Bibi atwa wo, bibi asi wapura, and regardless of how long it takes, eventually it will heal. Sometimes you may not get the skin as you wanted, but definitely the wound will close up. But regret comes with a pain that pierces your soul. And what makes it so disheartening is you can't even explain it to anybody because nobody sees that on the body. Your soul is pierced. Physical pain, however severe, often comes with relief. If you've had the opportunity to visit accident scenes or hospitals and accident centers to see people with their wounds. And what's because you want to imagine the pain. Yeah, the physical pain. You want to imagine it when you see these fresh wounds. So if I'm telling you that the pain of regret cuts deeper, can you imagine that? Physical pain, however severe, often comes with relief. Relief through healing, through medication, or the simple passage of time. The body itself is supposed to heal itself. That is, if we treat our body with the necessary nutrition and care it needs. So, with healing, psychological, with medication, or simple passage of time, physical pain can heal. A wound scabs over. A wound scabs over. A broken bone mends. Nkurɔfoɔ nan mu bu ma wodwen ho a w'adwene ne sɛ ɔmontumi nnante bio, wobɛhwɛ a na ɔmaheale, because that's how the body is made up of. With the right medication and with the psychological healing, broken bone can mend. A headache fades. It doesn't matter the severity of the migraine. Yeah, it fades. But regret has no natural expiry date. That is why when you hear people saying time heals, tell them you met a young woman who said time in itself, that's nothing. It is what we do within time that heals us. People have been through experiences that has traumatized them. 20, 30 years down the line, should you speak to them about that same subject, their emotions are as fresh as how it happened, as when that situation happens. Won't be there, don't talk about it because you don't know what I'm talking about. People have experienced some traumas that it doesn't matter the time. They speak about this with the same emotion as it happened. So time itself does nothing to us. Time itself does nothing to us. If you are in a toxic relationship and you think with time you go away, it wouldn't. It would bleed your soul the more. It is what we do within time that makes us healed or messes us up. But time itself has nothing to offer. So physical pain, regardless of how severe it is, it often comes with a relief through healing, medication, or the simple passage of time. That is physical pain, the pain on the body that can be seen. We'll be able to heal it over time. It doesn't matter how severe. Nkurɔfoɔ nya accident ma ɔmo nan mu bubu, yɛtumi kyekyere ma ɔmo, they get healing. Through healing, through medication, through a simple passage of time. But the healing of your soul, the healing of regret, the pain of regret pierces your soul so much that with the passing of time, nothing happens to you. If you don't take a conscious effort to heal, anytime you talk about that trauma, the pain and the emotions will still be as fresh as it used to be. Physical pain may torment the body, but regret, it pierces your soul. Regret pierces your soul. And that is why we should be careful with life. When you continually go through repeated pain and pain and pain and trauma and brokenness, the time comes even your own soul gives up on you. Your soul is so much pierced that the body is there, but it's not connected with the spirit and the soul. There's so much dissonance. However severe physical pain is, it comes with a relief. Relief through healing, through medication, or the simple passage of time. Regret has no natural expiry date. It stays. It stays at the corners of your memory. It stays gnawing at the corners of your memory, reminding you of opportunities you missed, words you didn't say, risks you were too afraid to take, or mistakes you refused to correct. You would always be reminded of the mistakes you refused to correct. And many a time, all these things will come at its core in your later years. You know, the first 25 is just for, gathering information and fitting foundation. Even within the second half, what is the next 25 years of your life, if you don't correct a lot of your mistakes and it comes back with its weight in your later years, the third 25 years of your life, it is something else you don't want to go through. You don't want to go through. If you don't correct all these mistakes, if you're afraid to take calculated risk and you hit your years of rest when you haven't set the foundations right, it would come back hunting you big time. And this pain can linger on as long as you live. And at its core in your old age, when you don't have the luxury of time and energy to correct a lot of these wrongs. Regret is powerful because it's tied to the irreversible nature of time. When you knew what you were supposed to have done and yet you did nothing. When you knew you were supposed to arise and do something concerning your life and you did nothing. When you allow people to take you for granted for life, your soul will come back telling you that this is not the way you were supposed to have lived. And at its core, it would be in your older age. You can treat a wound, but you cannot go back and relive yesterday. You can never go back and relive yesterday. You cannot undo the silence when you should have spoken. When you hear silence is golden, that's what you have been taught. So sometimes we keep quiet for people to take us for granted, and you lose that opportunity to have explained yourself. When you know too much and you still allow gibberishness to triumph, and people take you for granted, disrespect even your soul, because to you silence is golden. You cannot undo the silence when you should have spoken, the hesitation when you should have acted, or the comfort you should have offered but withheld. Regret whispers, you could have, but you didn't. You should have, but you chose not. And that voice, unlike physical pain, is not easily silenced. That voice, the voice of silence, the voice of regrets, it is not easily silenced. Ebetsna utimu as long as you live, telling you the opportunities you missed, the decisions you could have taken, how you could have arisen and taken hold of your own life without allowing people to take you for granted forever. It would always whisper. It doesn't matter how many times you shut it down, it would always come back whispering. That voice, the voice of regret, unlike physical pain, is not easily silenced. So if you get opportunity to re-examine your life, please do it now, because tomorrow might be too late. Sometimes we learn too much along the way, but we can't go back 10, 20, 30 years ago. So when you hear people saying, if I knew what I know today, I wouldn't have done life that way, it tells you growth has taken place, but you can't go back into your 20s to correct many of those things. So if you are younger, in your 20s and 30s, and there's no agenda for your life, there's no plan for your life yet, know that your life is in danger. Because once there's no agenda, you can settle for anything. It is better to put an agenda in place and let life give you a better life, better options and choices than just to go through life without any agenda. Because when the voice of regret comes back to you, nothing can silence it. Nothing can silence it. And it's because of where we are in our part of the world. Some people in their 20s already have their plans. They have the agenda for their plans, spelled out. Would you go back even into their 50s what they are going to do with their lives? But we don't put any plans in any agenda. So sometimes you get the awareness in your late 40s when you have wasted 2 decades of your life. 2 decades. And if around that time you got married and had children, then it means your own life is supposed to be put on hold. The people had the privilege. God's people were futuristic enough to guide them into planning their lives. Even in their 30s, their lives already spelled out. So don't just go through life and think you correct a lot of things along the way. If you get the wisdom today, do it, regardless of your age. Get an agenda for your life. Don't just wake up and go through counting the days. Work with an agenda. Because unlike physical pain, the pain of regrets is not easily silenced. The tragedy of regrets is that it robs you of both past and present. The past is already gone. The past is already gone. And this regret, the pain of regret, will rob you of today too. So you have lost the past and you are losing the present. What future do you think you're going to have? It chains you to what could have been while poisoning your experience of what it is. So your teenage years were a mess. And instead of focusing in your 20s now, you are still considering on those traumas. And in no time, you move from your 20s into 30s. Why are we just wasting life and going through life only to get the awareness in your 40s? Can you imagine the life we could have lived when in the 20s there's agenda? You start working this one for 10 years. In your 30s, building on this foundation. In your 40s, how life would have been. But we are just going through life, repeating the mistakes of the majority when we have so many other people to have learnt from. And people get into their 60s and 70s and they turn around to ask, how did I live? How did I get here? A body may recover from physical pain, but a heart weighed down by regrets can grow weary and bitter. A body may recover from physical pain, but a heart weighed down by regrets can grow weary and bitter. Bitter and weary. Yet regret can also serve as a teacher. Yeah, regret can also serve as a teacher. In your 20s, you couldn't get the love of parents. In your teenage years, you couldn't get the love of parents. In your 20s, you give that love to yourself. If you go through the regrets and the mistakes in the 20s, you would have lost your teenage years, you would have lost your 20s years. 2 separate decades. So yes, I believe regret can also serve as a teacher. It is a warning sign, urging us to live passively, not to live passively or fearfully. So 10, 20s, 30s, 40s, they're already gone. For instance, there's no way I can go back into those years. But as long as I live now, yeah, I live for myself too. So to me, regrets can also serve as a teacher. It is a warning sign, urging you and I not to live passively or fearfully. It reminds us that the greatest pains in life do not come from what happened to us. They're already gone. We never had control over them. But from what we failed to do. Life is about 20% of what happens to us and 80% of how we handle those things. The same experiences we went through that we got bitter. Some people went through them and they are better humans, enjoying life. Why are we bitter? It is ourselves. It has nothing to do with what we went through. People went through bitter experiences, but today they are better humans. Why would others go through the same thing and they ended up being bitter and miserable, living in misery? It has nothing to do with what we went through. It is the way we handle them. That is why it is wiser to embrace the pain of discipline, the pain of effort, the pain of perseverance, pains that build us, than to suffer the heavier, long-lasting pain of regret. If there's a pain we are supposed to live with, it should be the pain of becoming better, not bitter. And sometimes the same energy upside down, the same energy that can make us better can equally make us bitter. So why would you choose to be bitter when we could have been better? Sometimes you think life is so bad to you because you didn't know other people's stories. If you know you are privy to the people you think have better lives and what they equally went through, that today they are living good, you realize that it's not about what we go through, but how we handle the things we went through. Some people's childhood, when you hear their stories, all your body will do is to cry, but they don't feel sad about them because that has been their fuel as to why they are living big and living good and living well today. Why were some people still miserable in that same situation? No. That is why it is wiser to embrace the pain of discipline today. Any day that we get the awareness that we deserve better means it is the day for us to embrace the pain of discipline, the pain of effort, the pain of perseverance, pains that build us than to suffer the heavier, longer lasting pain of regrets. We don't have the luxury of time to waste. A day or so, I say, oh, I'm just young, I am just this. Before you open your eyes, you are 30. And life has already begun long time before you even hit 20. If you must choose a pain in this life, choose the temporary discomfort of action over the endless torment of regret. Choose the strength of growth, the risk of failure, and the weight of responsibility. There is no way we dream of a good life, desire a good life, and yet we can't do anything to have a good life and still anticipate that some way, somehow, a good life will find us. So if there's a pain we must choose in this life, it is the pain of temporary discomfort of action over the endless torment of regret. Choose the stretch of growth. Don't just go through the numbers. If there is any pain you and I are supposed to embrace, it should be the pain of temporary discomfort of taking action. Immediately we have the awareness that this is not the life I want to live. We have to choose the temporary discomfort of action over the endless torment of regret. Choose the stretch of growth, the risk of failure. If you are afraid to fail so you don't take any action, before you open your eyes, you'll be 30, 40, and 50. Choose the stretch of growth, the risk of failure, and the weight of responsibility. Because one day, when you look back, the question will not be how much you suffered physically, but whether you truly lived. And in case you are not aware, let me share this secret with you. A greater percentage of people are not living. They are just existing in this life. That shouldn't be your portion. A greater percentage of people are just existing. They are not living. Don't let that be your portion. In the next 10 years, when you look back, will life hand you a person you are proud of, or you will come with many regrets because of the way you are living today? One day you look back, the question will not be how much you suffered physically, but whether you truly lived. Whether you truly lived. In the end, regret is the cost of a life unlived. Regret normally comes when we knew the life we're supposed to have lived and we chose not to. When we had the opportunity to have corrected our mistakes and we did not. Nothing, no injury, no illness, no physical struggle can be compared to that kind of pain. Regret is the cost of a life unlived. And nothing, no injury, no illness, no physical pain or struggle compares to that kind of pain. There is no physical pain that can match the pain of regrets. Life brings with it many kinds of pain, just like I said. You see, physical pain touches only the body and you can heal. Today, I've just discovered that now you can even use laser to take care of all the skin disorders. That's it. So people can have flawless skins with medication, with nutrition, with pills, with injections, with whatever. That's the body. The body will look all put together, but you can never deceive your soul. You can never deceive your soul. Physical pain touches only the body. That can heal over time with medication. But regret pierces the soul. And that one nobody even sees. And you can't lie to your own soul. A wound may heal. A broken bone may mend. But regret has no bandage. There is no bandage for regrets. No medication, no expiry dates. Regret stays. When you are alone, it whispers to you. It will look at your face and mention your name and tell you, you knew the life you're supposed to have lived. What are you doing here? But then you have wasted about 2 decades of your life. When you are alone, it whispers to you. It reminds you of the opportunities you've missed. The things you were supposed to have corrected along the way that you did not. The chances you were too afraid to take. It replays moments you cannot return to because time never runs backwards. And that's what makes it a whole. You can never run back to it. The pain of regret is so devastating because it robs you twice. It steals your past, the years you are supposed to have enjoyed that you did not. You are robbed of it. It steals your past by making you wish you had lived differently. Oh, if I'd done this, if I lived like this, if I'd taken this, if I'd done that, the years already gone and you are robbed of that. And it also steals your present by chaining you to what could have been. And if you are taking that decision, if you are taking that route, if you are taking that decision, if you had made that choice, your life would have been like this. So you waste the present too. But here is the truth. Regret does not have to be your story. It's supposed to be our teacher. Unless we are not willing and ready to learn. If you are ready to learn, Anytime that the whispers of regret come, we should see it as the nudge we need to live better and to live good today. Yes, I made those stupid mistakes some years ago. I'll correct it now. As long as there's breath in me, I'll correct it. Yes, I allow people to take me for granted, but no more, never again. Hooray, that is it. Regrets that do not have to be our story. We can choose today to live boldly enough that we won't have to look back with sorrow. We can live so beautifully today that even the regrets would have been the stepping stones we needed. We can turn around our situation today so much that what was supposed to have been regret will now be the stepping stones we needed to get to where we are today. You can choose the pain of discipline over the pain of regret. I've told you everything depends on you and I. We can be bitter and cry and blame everybody around us for not supporting, for not assisting, for not being there for us. Or we can march on and say, yes, what is past is past, but what is ahead of me, I would dare not treat it anyhow. You can choose the discomfort of growth, the risk of action, the courage to try again and again and again, even when you feel. Because all of those pain fade, but the pain of never trying, that pain forever remains. So I ask you, when the years roll by and you look back, will you be able to say, I truly lived, or I just walked through the face of the earth? When the years roll by and you look back, when you look back, will you be able to say, Hooray, I truly lived? Or will regret whisper, you could have, but you didn't. You should have, but you chose not to. Life gives us a lot of pains. Let the pain be a pain that will take us to a better life, not to make us bitter. So my question to you tonight is simple. What aspect of your life have you ignored when you know what to do to get the results you desire? What aspect of your life have you ignored all this while when you know what to do to get the results you desire? Should I repeat that question? What aspect of your life have you ignored when you know what to do to get the results you desire? One of the greatest paradoxes of human life is this. Many of us already know what to do to create the results we desire. And I know that's why a lot of people get depressed in their later years in this life. Because it's not like they were novices. They knew exactly what they were supposed to do. They knew the decisions they were supposed to have taken. They knew the bold steps they were supposed to have taken, and yet they did not. One of the greatest paradoxes of human life is that many of us already know what to do to create the results we desire, yet we often fail to act. We read books, listen to advice, attend seminars, and motivate others, yet certain areas of our lives remain stagnant. The truth is, knowledge alone does not transform, and it will never transform. That is why a lot of people go to school, and yet they're educated ignorance. Knowledge itself will never change any life. It is the application of that knowledge in your own life that brings the transformation. It is action applied consistently that births transformation. Think about it. You may know that your health would improve if you exercise regularly and eat better, but you keep postponing. Who said you didn't know that some things are not good for your health at this age? How can you be diabetic and hypertensive and yet you can eat everything? How on earth would you know that what you are eating will not hurt your body and yet you eat it? So who said we don't have knowledge? We know. We have a lot of knowledge. We have a lot of information. We need the discipline to translate that knowledge information into our day-to-day lifestyle. You may know that your finances will change if you budgeted, saved, or invested wisely, but ignore that discipline. So financially, we'll struggle. We may even know that our relationships will flourish if we communicated more openly and lovingly. But if you choose silence or distance, nothing will happen for you. So the gap between knowing and doing is where most people lose their potential. Nti onim paa, woka 1, 2, 3 for bɛka kyerɛ I know. Who said I'm stupid? I know. And yet they will never do that. And yet they will not translate that into their own lives. When you and I ignore areas of our lives that require attention, it is often not because we lack information, but because we lack discipline, courage, or consistency. Ignoring these areas creates silent debts, debts that eventually come due. Unhealthy lifestyles manifest as illness. Poor financial habits show up as stress, and neglected relationships turn into loneliness. Into yeah, but the sum total will hit you at a point that you just all you can do is to be overwhelmed. The pain of neglect always catches up with us. So the real question becomes, what aspect of our lives have we neglected, even though we already know what to do? And I've told you, if you are 20 years, yes, don't think you are young. You don't have the luxury of time to just mess around. What aspect of your life have you neglected, even though you already know what to do? Awareness without action is self-deception. If you truly desire change, you must bridge the gap between knowledge and practice. It's like going to buy a seed and keeping the seed in your pocket or in your handbag or on your shelf in your kitchen. Would you get that seed? Would you get that plant? No. So you may have bought the seeds so expensive, and if you don't plant it, you will never get that plant. The seed you refuse to plant will never yield a harvest. No matter how much you know about farming, the seed you refuse to plant will never yield a harvest, no matter how much you know about farming. In the same way, the dream you and I refuse to act on will remain a dream, no matter how many times we imagine it. There are people still in their 70s who are still speaking about their dreams, dreams they've never even started working out. Yeah. The seed you and I refuse to plant. We've bought beautiful seeds, but the seed you and I refuse to plant will never yield a harvest, no matter how much we know about farming. In the same way, the dream we refuse to act on will remain just a dream, no matter how many times we imagine it. So imagine a better life, a good life, a what life will never come for us and never come to us if we not take any action to get a better life. And at a certain age, it wouldn't be the fault of your parents. It wouldn't be the fault of the one you married. It wouldn't be the fault of the community you live in. It wouldn't be the fault of any external thing. It would have to be you and I. If we refuse to do nothing about our lives and we get nothing, it wouldn't be the fault of anyone. So it is time for us to stop ignoring and start doing. Let's choose one area of our lives today. Is it your health, your finances, your relationships, your growth, and apply what we already know? That is how results are born. So far, what do you know about that particular situation? That is how transformation begins. When you transfer what you know into actionable results. When you apply what you already know, take baby steps concerning it. Not to run in circles, but to take baby steps, one day at a time. And in some time to come, you turn around and realize you have come so far. In the same capacity, if we do nothing, time will still run and we'll turn around and realize we are still stagnated at the same point in this life. And it wouldn't be the fault of any external force. It would be our own choice. So I don't know about you, but I have resolute to take action. I am too tired of knowing so much and doing so little. I'm so tired of gathering information day in, day out and doing nothing with that information. It is not just enough to know. What are we doing with what we know? What are we doing with what we know? Our relationships will never thrive if we don't do things to make them beautiful. Our finances will never improve if all the things we know about finance, we don't implement them. Our lives, yeah, good evening, Eze. Thank you for being here. Our relationships will never get better if we continually treat the people we claim to love with disrespect, indifference, contempt, and still expect the relationship to work. It wouldn't happen. So, my question to you tonight is, what areas of your life do you need improvement? And what are you supposed to do to bridge the gap between where you are now and where you need to be? Because these things will not just happen for us because we desire a better life. And understand that regret will come at the point that you have wasted life. Wasted your life, your energy, your time, your resources. And you turn around and ask yourself, how did I get here? And there is no physical pain that can match the pain of regret. So if you are more than 20 years, I am speaking to you from my heart to your heart. Get an agenda for your life. Don't just wallow through life. No. Get an agenda for your life. In the next 5 years, 10 years, where would you want your life to be? Once you get those answers, then find out how would you bridge the gap between where you are now and where you are supposed to be in the next 5 years. If not, I am not a prophet of doom, but I'm telling you, 5 years will come, 10 years will come, and no major change or improvement has happened in your life. Yeah, that is why many others have wasted life. I don't want that to be your portion. Whether we take action or not, time is oxidating. Today, whether we did something meaningful or not, that is exactly what I'm talking about. If we decide to do nothing at all, December 31st will still come, and 1st January 2026 will come. In the same way, when we get to work, December 31st will come, and we'll have a result to show for our effort. So understand that there is no physical pain that can match the pain of regret. So anytime you have that nudge to do something with your life, please take that action. Even if it's a baby step, even if it's one step at a time, please go ahead and do it. Because when the whispers of regret come, there is no way we can silence it. Physical pain can heal through time, through medication, through normal therapy. But the pain of regret, many a time, you can't silence it. You can't silence it. So take your life into your hands and live as a full agentic adult who deserves a good life. And that good life, you are not sitting down waiting for someone somewhere to bring it to you in some time to come. You are getting to work and you are bringing that to yourself. Because you can deceive your body, you can deceive the whole world, but you can never lie to your own soul. This is what I passed by to share with you. Take hold of your life and understand that there is no physical pain that can match the pain of regret. And this comes in various forms. from the poor choices we make with the person we fall in love with, the person we date, the person we marry, our poor choices with our finances, our health, our relationships. All these things will come back with the pain of regrets in some time to come. And that shouldn't be our portion. So until I come your way again, I'm saying understand that if it's an area of your life that you need to change, please get to work now. Sometimes you don't know what will happen along the line. All you need is to take that baby step and watch life support you with the tools you need. But until you take that baby step, you wouldn't know where help will come from. If you are waiting to figure everything out before you take that step, chances are nothing meaningful can happen in your life. Take the first step and watch how the second next step would happen for you. So I'll come your way again some other time. I say much love and blessings. Thank you everybody for being here. You can put your comments in there and I'll respond. Let's march on regardless. We deserve good lives, we deserve better lives, but nobody will bring it to us. We'll get to work and make it happen. Thank you, everybody, for being on. And to all those who watch you later, you can put your comments in there. There is no physical pain that can match the pain of regrets. So any aspect of your life you need to improve, please don't ignore it anymore. Thank you, everyone. Much love and blessings.